What's up, everybody? It's Greg with Advantage One Brokers, and this is the ADV1 podcast. This is a podcast where we come to you with relevant training and topics and interview different people in the field, such as today, we're interviewing Mr. Colin Patrick. We come to you each and every weekday. And Colin, how you doing, brother?
Hey man, I'm doing all right. I appreciate you having me on here. It's my pleasure. I'm a big fan of the podcast, so it's pretty cool to be on it. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
I appreciate you being a fan and taking part. So
it.
um, I had saw that you got some A leads, and we talked on the phone. And you talking about some A leads you'd had some success with.
Yeah,
And so what I want to do is kind of pick your brain, similar fashion that we did with Jeff, that Mr. Grub Grub. We can talk about what your experience has been, and just kind of walk us through A to Z. In fact,
yeah,
first off, what I want to do just to make it easy, start with you. You know where you're coming from, and what brought you to Advantage One Brokers.
yeah, absolutely. So everybody, my name's Colin Fitzpatrick. I am new to Advantage One Brokers. Moved over from a previous IMO, um, and learned a lot of that previous IMO. Great. I met a lot of really great people. A lot of people that helped me out. But I had been following Greg for some time, kind of listening to his training, kind of some of his advice, whether it was objections on the phone, closing, anything like that. Anything that he was suggesting to read, I was reading. Grant Cardone, big fan, Greg, because of you. But no, I started in the insurance industry. I'm coming up on month 7, and it kind of happened out of nowhere. I graduated college in 2020, arguably the worst time to
To
graduate
graduate.
college. And I had a full time offer with a financial or legal services firm in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, and that offer was unfortunately rescinded, but I think everything happens for a reason. I was reached out to by a recruiter. Kind of started watching some of the podcasts and watching people like Greg and these crazy producers doing crazy numbers. And I was like, well, why couldn't I do
Mm-hmm.
that? And so that's kind of what brought me into this. I graduated with a degree in economics and finance, so I was always interested in this side, wealth management, insurance, anything like that. And so I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I had some money saved up. I was like, let's go buy some leads. Let's go do this. I had a little success in the beginning at the previous company, but it kind of tapered off. And Greg and I have had conversations about all different types of leads. I mean, I've run Facebook leads, I've run final expense, I've done mailers, I've done mortgage protection, I've done aged mortgage protection. Everything that there was that was offered, I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg, to be honest with you, man, I was just tired of saying or of people telling me that I wasn't working. And I mean, you've used phone burner. I could show you my phone burner. I mean, hours and hours, 1,200 calls in a week, 1,400 calls in a week, and I just wasn't getting anywhere and I was frustrated. And where Greg and I started talking is just out of the leads and the frustration. And it's like, hey, man, you're writing 200K in a month. What are you doing? And then shortly after he made the move, I reached out again and he was like, hey, man, let's just get some A leads in your hand. And if you like them, great. Let's see what happens. And that's kind of what happened with me. So I had 10 A leads that I purchased, and out of those 10 A leads, I spoke with 7.
Mm-hmm.
This was last week, the first time I got on the phones with anybody, and the difference in lead is not even close. I mean, out of those 7 people that I talked to, every single one of them was the first call. And the
So
most
so
amazing
you did not have to triple dial, is what you're saying.
phone burner is no longer a reoccurring payment on my bank statement, Greg.
Very nice. Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, I was amazed first off, because I'm expecting a fight. I'm expecting somebody to tell me, you know what, I'm not interested. I've already gotten this taken care of. Um, I didn't fill that out, and I didn't get any of that. Also, I was nervous to even ask if they were comfortable with a virtual meeting, and every single one of them was comfortable with it. Of course, I had some reschedules. I'll be honest. I'm going to be completely transparent.
Yeah,
I
please do.
had some reschedules for this week. Met with two of them today. Um, One was a short or a one-legged appointment, so we had to reschedule again. So the husband was there, but that's all right. That's okay. I didn't have to get in the car and drive 2 hours and sit on the porch for 20 minutes. So that's all good. It's all good. So out of those seven, I met with four, actually three rescheduled to this week. And out of that, I wrote around, it's almost 7,000 in AP. And there's also one other app that Greg and I had talked about last night that's in the pipeline. We're just waiting on a pending agent number, and then we're going to be good to go. And it's going to be close to 10K. So crazy different success. When I heard 10 leads is all I needed, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know about that, Greg. What are we talking about here? But no, he was right. And I just hope more people can get their hands on some A leads, because my experience was insane, to say the least.
So how many hours did you spend dialing to set those 7 appointments? I should say how many minutes.
That's the crazy thing. That's really I'd say 35 minutes. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on and off the phone. I mean, it's maybe 3 minutes a phone call's long. And so, I mean, that was the craziest part in the dialing, because we all get into, I don't know if everybody has the experience, but I used to have to put myself in a mindset of like, I'm going to do this. I have 8 hours on the phone. I'm just going to knock it out. 10 hours on the phone. I'm just going to do whatever I have to.
Yeah.
And so when you have 35 minutes and you set 4 quality appointments, you meet with them and you sell all of them, it's crazy, the difference. It really is.
So, you, this is just, it's phenomenal when I see this. It still makes me smile from ear to ear, but you went from doing 1,400 calls on a week on phone burner to 35 minutes of dialing for a week. Can you even believe that?
No, I mean, honestly, I want to put a picture in the Slack after this this podcast of my phone burner so people can believe me. But I mean, the difference is just, it's insane. It really is insane. And I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't hype anything up. I mean, if I didn't truly believe in it, and the difference is just,
it's
awesome.
Not hype, it's real. Like, it's
right, exactly.
It's real. And so, exactly. This is just a conversational piece. With your 10 leads each week, are you doing in your area so you can go in home? Have you been doing all remote? Like, what's been your
yeah. So I started, and I was gonna purchase just my first order. I was gonna purchase just in the surrounding counties to me. But after this week, I mean, I don't see any reason not to use some of my licenses that I have in, say, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, because how receptive people were to meeting online was amazing. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, hey, I don't know who you are. I don't want to meet online. I don't want to meet on Zoom. I don't know how to work Zoom. I mean, I had a 60-year-old that knew how to work Zoom, and that was amazing in itself, you know? And so I think from now on, I mean, I'll explore South Carolina, like I said, North Carolina. There's no problem in that. I haven't even had somebody that has asked for me to come in person. Right now, I will say that I listened to the podcast with Spencer, and if there's enough volume in leads in, say, the surrounding area of Atlanta where I am, to be able to drop off the policy in person and
That's what I
introduce
was getting
myself.
at.
Yeah, that is a huge piece, and I think that the little bit of customer service there, customer service is waning, I think, in the United States and everywhere. So if you can be a little bit different than somebody down the street, then I mean that's just your competitive advantage. So
Yeah.
if there's volume here, I'm going to stick with that. But if I have to go outside the state, then I will.
Fantastic. That's awesome. So what have you done with all your extra time this week?
I was listening to the podcast. So when I wake up in the morning, I'll make breakfast after the gym or whatever, and I'll listen to the podcast. And I was listening to Jeff say, "Dude, you got to get some hobbies. Like you're gonna have some extra time," and he's right. You know, so no, it just gives me time to focus on my health. You know, you preached that before, how important it is to have balance and your spirituality, your fitness, your physical health, your relationships, all those things. Of course, your business is going to be important too. You have to create those relationships and foster those as well. But to be able to take care of myself and have a little bit of time to myself is awesome, you know? So that's kind of what I've been doing. Have time to work out now.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. I mean, and just your, like, a lot of people don't realize when you grind like that, when you're grinding and you're spending 2 full days, 20 hours a week, 40, or I'm sorry, not 40, 80 hours minimum a month dialing, 80 hours a week or a month dialing. That's a lot of time in a month. That's a lot of time. If you can significantly reduce that down to 4 to 5 hours a month dialing from 80, that's literally 2 weeks of full-time jobs.
It's insane.
That you just opened up time for. Like, what are you gonna do? And that's just on dialing. That doesn't even include the amount of appointments that you have to do, because when you have super highly intentional leads, you don't have to set 30 appointments a week.
Right.
Because these people actually show up and they actually want it, and you're the first in the home.
Right.
And opening up that time, man, it changes your mentality, it changes your psyche, it changes your ability to just be happy in life and not be stressed about a grind.
Right. And the small team that I have of people that work with me, I can help them. You know, I have 4 or 5 months on some of these people that are coming in, or they're completely blind or have no idea what they're getting themselves into, and in the phone, and they think that everybody is just it's gonna be a rollover sale. Well, that's not the truth. So I can sit and say, hey, let's go through the script. You know, let's go through some objections, because you talk about it all the time. You can't get paid like a professional athlete and not practice. That's never made any sense to me. Is like, why wouldn't I spend the time and practice on some objections when you know they're coming? You know, it's like Kobe Bryant sat in the gym for 3 hours and worked on a pivot move. You know, I think he knows how to pivot, but he's so good at the small things that's why he was one of the best ever.
Exactly.
So that's how I think about things.
I like that you bring that up. A lot of people think that when they see extraordinary people or people do extraordinary things and they're just extraordinary, that they have some kind of gift or talent, and that and they don't realize what it is that extraordinary people do the small things extraordinary well, because they practice the small things and they master the small things. And mastering small conversational techniques, like over the phone, overcoming specific objections. What are the top 3 objections you're going to get on the phone? I want to think about it's number 1, just overbearingly number 1. That's what you're going to get. I want to think about it. I want to talk to, if you're doing final expense, I want to talk to my kids about this. I want to talk to somebody. I want to talk to my sister or talk to somebody. And that's what you want to do. If you're more professional like you had that one-legger. That was to prevent, I need to talk to my wife about it. And then last is just objections about giving banking information up over the phone. And so those are the
Yeah.
three objections. And if you practice those, if you practice those, watch your sales skyrocket.
Mhm.
Watch your ability to close the deal over Zoom skyrocket. And when you start to close, there's only three ways that you can make more money in this business. Only three ways: write more deals, write bigger deals, or duplicate yourself. That's it. There's no other way to make more money in this business. So if you get really good at writing more deals, then you can work on writing bigger deals so you can work less and make more, and then duplicating yourself to where you teach other people to do it and you get an override.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
No, I agree, 100%. And that's what I look. I mean, I like helping people. At the end of the day, I wouldn't be in this business if I didn't like helping people. And the ability to help an agent go from, I mean, buying 1 month, 2 month, 3 month old leads and selling nothing and buying $500 worth of leads. I would have more confidence in having them buy $500 worth of A leads, and I'll go on the Zoom appointment with them if they want. I'll talk through the whole thing. It can be their sale. I don't care, but they can now see that, okay, this is possible.
yeah.
People are doing this,
Yeah.
and the belief system and believing in yourself is half of the battle, if not more. Because when you start having trouble with leads and you're not having the success that you thought you were going to have, we talk so much crap to ourselves. There's a reason why people that manifest things or just say they repeat things to themselves or affirmations. There's a reason why they're successful, is because the majority of the day we're talking shit to ourselves. Like, I
Yeah.
hate to excuse my language, but
No, that's fine. Be raw. I like it.
that's just the truth. And so creating belief in agents and empowering them, that's awesome. It's awesome.
And when you have a system that allows them to actually be put like the best foot forward, and I don't have to tell an agent like, hey, you need to put up at least $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000, and if you don't do that, I'm not working with you. I don't have to do that. you know I mean, hell, I'll probably like, give it a few weeks and you're going to have some good solid leads that you still haven't contacted yet, but they're like, dude, these are still really good leads. Here, just take them. Like, while you're waiting, these are basically B leads. While you're waiting for your contracts to come in place and your first lead batch of $500, which is going to change your life. Here's some of my old A leads that I wasn't able to sell. They're exclusive. They're not being sold to anyone else. There you go. Like, here's some B leads. Go crush it. And that way you can work on something in the meantime while you wait for your A leads to come in. And then,
Yeah.
dude, it's a game changer.
It is. And another thing is the great. I haven't heard anybody talk about this, but on the lead form, it talks about best time to call. And some of them aren't going to fill it out, but every lead that I received had the best time to call, called within that
Window.
1 to 3 o'clock or 6 to 8 p.m. And they all answered on the first call.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So
I feel like if a company tells you, so I've been in a couple of IMOs, I've been in a couple of captive companies, and there's only one that I had to do that they preached and taught triple dialing. Only one.
Yeah.
And I'd never triple dialed before that. It seemed kind of foreign at the time, but then it's like, well, the reason why you do is because they're going to think that you're a telemarketer, and this is going to set you apart so they actually answer the phone. And I'm like, okay, makes sense. But now when I think back, I'm like, it doesn't really make sense, because I was using mortgage protection mailer leads beforehand, and I would call and they'd answered, and I called them one time and they answered, and I would dial through. I got 10 leads a week. I would dial through them. I'd set 7 to 8 appointments a week. I set appointments Saturday morning, and I would do appointments on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I had Thursday, Friday, and Sunday off. And Saturday I just dialed from 8 a.m. and I was done by 10 a.m. And I did that week after week, every single week. And every week I was writing anywhere between 5, 6, 7, sometimes as high as 10, 11, 12K every single week. It just depended on the week. And so now I'm looking back, I'm like, do you know what kind of people that we have to triple dial? People that didn't really fill out anything. people that are not expecting a call, except for the ones that get called by telemarketers all the time.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's just the truth.
yeah, just the truth. Those are the kind of people that you're gonna have to triple down. So
Yeah.
um yeah, it there's so many different elements of this and the benefits of it, but like just as simple as like, dude, you only had to sit really 4 appointments this week and you just sold over almost 7K,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
and
insane.
four appointments. And it's just like, dude, it's completely comfortable for me. I spent $500
Right. Right.
and I got way more than my investment back.
Yeah.
Um, and so and when everything's all said and done, I do think you'll get that other policy once you get your pending right number.
Right.
And that's a good company to have. So looking forward, now that you've made the switch, what would you say to anybody that's looking, that's on the fence looking? Because there's a lot of agents that are watching us right now during this transition that are like
Yeah.
they want something better. They know, they feel it in their heart that there's something not right here.
Mhm.
I see all this change and tumultuous like things going on, but they're afraid to make the jump because what if it's not? Or what if they're lying? What if it's not true? What would you say?
Right. To anybody that's kind of on the fence, I get it. I understand. I have empathy towards that. I know what it's like to create relationships with uplines and 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 you kind of have a weird loyalty to them almost.
Yeah.
And if they're a great upline, then it's awesome, but that's not always the case. And so, what I would say to anybody that's kind of thinking about it is, it's more than just leads that goes into making a decision to leave and go to, say, an Advantage One broker's situation. For me, the most important thing was kind of like a mentorship or leadership type of role that somebody could take some interest into me and help me in my early stages of my career. And that's exactly what I've been welcomed with here. Shout out to a few people that have helped me along the way. John Doe, legend. If you're watching this, great
John
guy.
Doe is really legitimately great.
He's a crazy name, John Doe, but it's real, and he's a great guy. So shout out to him. Wesley, awesome guy, has helped me out a lot. Becky, Jess, everybody that's helped with the transition. No matter what, on any stage of whether it was contracting or getting credentials to get on the agent site or Assurance Bay, anything like that, any question that I had, it was answered, and I had somebody that I could go to that knew more than me. In where I was before, it felt like I was struggling to find someone to go to if I ever needed help. If my upline didn't know, they were just like, yeah, you can text this person or watch this podcast or something like that. And it's, that might be great, but it might take 5-10 minutes on the phone, not that long. Just answer my question, help me out, and it's done. And so that's what I've been welcomed with here, and it's a huge change. Obviously, the leads are great. I'm not saying that leads aren't an important factor, but everything that comes with the technology advances that are coming down the pipeline that Greg has shared, the access to a crazy amount of carriers. I mean, Greg, in my early stages of my career, I only had 3 carriers, and I was told over and over again that, oh, that's all you need. You don't need anything else. You have this carrier that we write everything with, and then you have this one for final expense, and everything else is with the catch-all. And as you know, when you're in the home, there's crazy circumstances that people. I mean, I met with a guy that was a 9/11 veteran, a detective, got retired by the state of New York at age 45, and I'm trying to submit a policy. He's ready to go. He's excited. He wants the coverage, and I didn't have another carrier to pivot to. I just didn't. And so, if I could wrap it all up, or kind of,
You take as much time as you want to take.
yeah, no. If I could just condense it down to what I'd say is the reason that I kind of moved over is the access to leadership. I've had awesome experiences with people that are willing to help. They're going through similar transitions, or they're going through similar things with leads or similar things in contracting. And it's always been, someone's always been there to answer that question. So if you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, I'd say just reach out to somebody that's over here. I don't think they're going to share any of your information or that you're talking to them or anything like that. The decision comes down to you at the end of the day. And I think that just reach out. I mean, and hear what people have to say, and you might be surprised at what you hear, honestly.
Yeah, very true. Colin, if anyone identifies with you and in the way that you portray yourself and says, man, I want to work with that Colin guy, he seems like a legit dude, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, if you want to call me or text me, feel free. My cell phone number is 678-925-7438. If you want to reach me on LinkedIn, you can find me Colin Fitzpatrick, 1L. Even Instagram. Instagram is Colin J Fitz, Fitz. Feel free to reach out, send me a DM, whatever. I'm more than happy to answer some questions, and we can talk it out. But yeah, man, that's how you can reach me. I appreciate it, Greg.
Yeah, definitely, man. And what are your goals here? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So what I want to accomplish is obviously I want to produce at a high level for myself and for everybody that I bring on or works with me on my team, to lead from the front. Obviously, Spencer, president of the company, he does it month in, month out. I want to follow that example, but also I want to build a team where I can pour back in and help them and kind of get them through all the mistakes that I made early, so that they don't have to struggle through it too. Because let's be honest, a lot of people come into this with not a lot of money, and $500 isn't just like throwaway money, just. So I want to put somebody in the best possible position and make sure that they're prepared before they get on the phones, and no more of that, oh, you'll just get better and better on the phones. Just get on. You just got to start calling. That's not how I would run my organization. So yeah, my goals are to produce at a really high level. I'd love to do 400,000 in a year. I'd love to build a great team of people that are producing at a high level for themselves as well. But yeah, I want to see how this continues to grow, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Fantastic. Well, Colin, it was a pleasure having you on, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you've been busy. He literally, ladies and gentlemen, he was just on a call right before. He was like, hey, I just got done my appointment. I'm available. So we've been trying to nail each other down for the last couple of days and get this recording in. If you like the shirt, no more travel, hashtag no more travel trips, you can get it on the Advantage One Brokers website. The shop is now open for those of you watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you like the channel, follow the channel, subscribe to it. If this got you any value, this gave you any value listening to Colin here or me, we talked, and you feel like this could give somebody else value, do me a favor, just share it. That's the fee. Share the content with people that can get value from it.